Hello, my friend, and welcome to EnglishStoryHub, the place where you learn English in the most natural and enjoyable way possible. Today, you and I are going to take a trip together. But this is not a boring grammar trip or a slow vocabulary walk. This is a trip to the weekend market, full of noise, colors, and surprises. And yes, a few funny moments too. I want you to imagine this. It's Saturday morning, and you've decided to visit the big open-air market in your neighborhood. You're thinking about buying some fresh fruit, maybe some bread, and perhaps just looking around. The moment you arrive, you hear people chatting, bargaining, and laughing. The smell of warm pastries mixes with the scent of fresh flowers. It's busy but cheerful. You stop at the first stall, where a friendly vendor smiles and says something quickly in English. Morning. 2 for $1, best deal in town. You catch morning and dollar, but the rest is so fast it almost sounds like one long word. You smile politely, but inside you're thinking, what did they just say? Then the vendor holds up a basket of strawberries and repeats, 2 for $1, best deal. And now you realize, oh, 2 for $1. You laugh quietly to yourself, but you also think, I really need to get better at catching these quick, natural sentences. This is exactly why we are here today. In this session, we are going to work on shadowing, the powerful technique where you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say, matching their tone, rhythm, and speed. You don't just copy the words. You copy the music of the language. Why does shadowing work so well? Because native English in real life, whether it's at a market, at work, or at a family gathering, rarely sounds like the slow, careful English in textbooks. People connect words together, drop sounds, and sometimes change pronunciation completely. For example, 2 for a becomes 2 for a. Going to becomes gonna. Did you becomes didya. If you're only used to perfect slow English, these shortcuts can sound like a different language. Shadowing helps your ears and mouth get used to the real thing. Here's how today's session will work. I'll give you short, realistic conversations, just like ones you might hear in that market. First, you'll hear them slowly so you can recognize each word. Then you'll hear them at normal native speed. After that, we'll shadow them together. You'll repeat after me, copying my pronunciation and intonation as closely as you can. We'll even push the speed a little higher sometimes, to make your brain and tongue work faster. Along the way, I'll explain new words, phrases, and connected speech so you understand exactly what you're saying. You don't need to speak perfectly from the start. Think of it like carrying a heavy shopping bag at the market. The first few minutes feel hard, but after a while you get used to the weight and even forget you're carrying it. Shadowing is the same. At first, your mouth and brain might feel tired, but soon the rhythm of English will feel natural. Let's try a quick warm-up. Listen to me first, then repeat after me. Ready? Best deal in town. Now you. Best deal in town. Notice how deal in connects, sounding like dealin'. Let's try another. Fresh bread still warm. Now you. Fresh bread still warm. Hear how still warm blends smoothly without a break. These small connections are what make native English sound fast, but once you train your ear, you'll start catching them easily. During our time today, you'll follow two friends, Rachel, who's visiting the market for the first time, and Sam, her English-speaking friend. They'll walk through the stalls, order snacks, ask prices, and chat with vendors. Sometimes they'll laugh at misunderstandings. Sometimes they'll need to repeat themselves. And every one of these moments is a chance for you to shadow real English. As you shadow, I want you to focus on intonation, the rise and fall of the voice. If Rachel is excited about the smell of fresh bread, your voice should rise too. If Sam is speaking calmly while checking the shopping list, your tone should match that calmness. This makes your speech sound more natural and expressive. We'll also highlight idioms and phrasal verbs that native speakers use every day. For example, if Sam says, "We'd better keep an eye out for the cheese stall," you'll learn that keep an eye out means to watch carefully for something. You'll practice saying it, hear it in the conversation, and know exactly when to use it yourself. One of the keys to shadowing successfully is thinking in chunks, not single words. A chunk is a small group of words that naturally go together. 2 for $1 is a chunk. Fresh out of stock is another. When you shadow, try to repeat the whole chunk at once, keeping the same stress and rhythm as the speaker. This will make your speech smoother and help you understand faster speech in the future. By the end of this episode, you will have shadowed multiple market conversations, picked up useful everyday phrases, and learned how to keep up with the speed and flow of native English. More importantly, you'll have trained your brain and mouth to work together, so you can enjoy conversations instead of worrying about missing words. So, are you ready? Picture the busy market around you, the colorful stalls, the sound of voices calling out offers, the smell of fresh fruit and bread in the air. Imagine holding your shopping bag in one hand and your confidence in the other. This is your English practice space today, and I'm here to guide you through every word, every sound, and every smile. Let's step into our first scene and start shadowing like a native speaker. The Saturday market was already in full swing when Rachel and Sam stepped through the main gate. A soft breeze carried the scent of ripe peaches, fresh bread, and something spicy cooking on a grill somewhere ahead. The walkway was lined with colorful stalls, and the hum of voices blended with the occasional laugh or the sound of a knife chopping vegetables. Rachel slowed her pace, scanning the scene as if she didn't want to miss a single detail. "This place is incredible," she said, her eyes lighting up. "It's like a little city of food and stories." Let's take a moment. Repeat that last line with me. It's like a little city of food and stories. Feel how the phrase flows when you keep the rhythm steady. Sam chuckled, shifting the shopping bag on his shoulder. "Wait until you try the bread here. People line up for it before the stall even opens." He pointed toward a corner where a small crowd was already forming. As they wove through the shoppers, Rachel's attention was caught by a display of bright yellow lemons piled high in a wooden crate. The vendor, a middle-aged man with a wide-brimmed hat, greeted them warmly. "Morning. Best lemons in the market. Smell one, you'll see." Rachel picked one up, brought it close to her nose and smiled. "You're right. It smells like sunshine." She handed it back. "Maybe I'll get some later. We should keep looking first." They moved on, passing stalls of herbs neatly tied in bundles, jars of honey that caught the sunlight, and baskets of berries so dark they were almost black. A woman selling flowers called out to them, waving a bunch of fresh lavender. "You two look like you need this on your kitchen table." Rachel laughed, raising her hand in a friendly wave but continuing to walk. "I'd buy everything if I stopped at every stall," she whispered to Sam. "Quick practice, repeat after me. I'd buy everything if I stopped at every stall." Listen to how stopped at blends into stopped at. That's how it sounds in real speech. The smell of something warm and sweet pulled them toward a bakery stall. A young man in a white apron was slicing a large round loaf, steam still curling from the bread. "Fresh out of the oven," he announced to the people nearby. Sam leaned toward Rachel. "This is the place I told you about. Trust me, it's worth it." They waited in a short line, listening to the friendly chatter between the baker and his customers. When it was their turn, Sam ordered, "One whole grain loaf, please. Could you slice it?" The baker nodded, his hands moving quickly. Rachel watched the knife glide through the crust. "It smells so good I might eat half of it before we get home," she joked. The baker wrapped the loaf in paper and handed it over. "That'll be $4.50. Sam paid, and they stepped aside to let the next customer in. From somewhere down the aisle came the bright sound of a guitar and a voice singing in a cheerful, upbeat rhythm. Rachel's steps slowed again. Live music in a market. This is my kind of morning. Repeat that. This is my kind of morning. Short, natural, and easy to remember. They followed the music until they reached a spice stall. Glass jars filled with powders and dried herbs covered every surface. The vendor, a smiling woman with silver hair tied back in a braid, lifted a jar toward Rachel. "Smell this, cinnamon from the mountains." Rachel inhaled deeply. "Oh, that's amazing." She glanced at Sam. "Should we get some?" Sam nodded. "Definitely. We can use it for baking." He turned to the vendor. "2 jars, please." While the vendor wrapped the cinnamon, Rachel's gaze drifted toward a stall across the way selling fresh pasta. I'm starting to think we'll need more than one bag to carry all of this. They thanked the vendor and walked on. The crowd had thickened, and Rachel found herself walking close behind Sam. At one point, a little boy darted across their path chasing a balloon, making Rachel laugh out loud. "Try this one with me." I couldn't help laughing out loud. It's a smooth sentence to practice saying in one breath. They stopped at a cheese stall where samples were laid out on a wooden board. The vendor offered them a toothpick with a small piece of pale yellow cheese. "Try it, it's our best seller." Rachel tasted it and raised her eyebrows. "Wow, that's delicious. It's creamy but sharp at the same time." Sam grinned. "Told you." They bought a wedge, and the vendor wrapped it carefully in wax paper. The sound of clinking dishes drew them toward a small food court area at the edge of the market. The scent of grilled vegetables and roasted chicken drifted toward them, making Rachel's stomach growl. "I think it's time for a snack," she said. They chose a table under a large umbrella and shared a plate of grilled corn with butter and herbs. The bustle of the market continued around them, but at that table, time seemed to slow. Rachel took a bite and sighed contentedly. "Best idea ever." Say it with me. Best idea ever. Short, simple, but with strong emphasis, it's the kind of phrase you can use anywhere. As they finished, Sam checked his watch. "We've covered about half the market. Ready to explore the rest." Rachel smiled, brushing a crumb from her shirt. "Lead the way." They gathered their bags, heavier now with bread, cinnamon, cheese, and a few other small treasures, and stepped back into the lively flow of the market. The voices, the colors, and the scents felt even richer than when they had first arrived. If you close your eyes right now, I want you to picture the market scene we walked through earlier. You can almost smell the bread, hear the vendors calling out, and feel the crowd moving around you. But instead of just looking around, this time we are going to listen, really listen, to the English spoken there. Today's focus is on how native speakers connect words, where they put the stress, and how the rhythm makes a sentence feel alive. We'll slow down, break a few examples apart, and then bring them back to life at natural speed. Example 1. It's like a little city of food and stories. Listen carefully. It's like a little city of food and stories. Do you hear how the words city of merge into city of? That small of sound keeps the sentence flowing. Now your turn. Say it slowly once, and then again at your normal speaking pace. Imagine you're saying this to a friend while walking past colorful stalls. If you could describe your own local market in one sentence, what would you say? Share it with me, I'd love to hear it. Example 2. I would buy everything if I stopped at every stall. Here the words stopped at slide together into something like stopped at. In fast speech, that ed sound in stopped is very soft and the T connects directly to at. Try saying it without breaking the rhythm. I would buy everything if I stopped at every stall. Keep your voice moving forward, as if you have no time to pause because the market is so busy. Example 3. This is my kind of morning. This sentence is short, but the rhythm matters. Notice how kind of becomes kinda. The of is reduced, almost disappearing. Say it with me. This is my kinda morning. Put a smile in your voice. This is something you might say when you're really enjoying the day. Example 4. That smells incredible. Here, incredible carries the main stress on cred. The that smells part is quick and light, leading to the word incredible, which gets more emphasis. When you say it, imagine catching the scent of fresh bread or herbs. The feeling in your voice will naturally change the way the sentence sounds. Example 5. Would you like white or whole grain? In real speech, would you almost always sounds like would ya. The two words connect, and the D sound shifts smoothly into Y. Say it naturally. Would ya like white or whole grain? Keep it friendly like a vendor offering you a choice. Quick question. Do you prefer white bread or whole grain? Let me know. I'm curious what most listeners choose. Example 6. Could you slice it? Just like would you. Could you becomes could ya. The connection keeps the sentence moving and makes it sound relaxed. Say, could ya slice it? Imagine handing over a loaf of bread as you speak. Example 7. That'll be 4.50. That'll be often turns into that'll in fast speech. The vowel sound in that'll is shortened, and the B follows immediately. Try saying, that'll 4.50. Keep it confident the way a vendor would when telling a price. Example 8. Smell this, fresh cinnamon from the mountains. In from the O sound in from often disappears, leaving firm the. This keeps the pace quick and smooth. Say it with me. Smell this, fresh cinnamon from the mountains. Make fresh cinnamon sound delicious. Your tone should carry the meaning. Example 9. How much is it? In real conversation, how much is it often blends into how much is it. The is and it become one sound. Say, how much is it? Keep your tone curious, like you're genuinely interested in the answer. Example 10. 2 for 10. Here, for is reduced and linked to 2, making 2 for 10. This is extremely common in prices and deals. Say, 2 for 10. Imagine pointing at the item while you speak. We've just looked at 10 examples, and each one has a small but important sound change. These little changes are what make English sound fast to learners, but once you know them, you'll start recognizing them instantly. Mini practice. Bring it together. Let's combine 3 lines into a short market conversation. Vendor. Would you like white or whole grain? Customer. Whole grain, please. Could you slice it? Vendor. That'll 4.50. First, say each line slowly, focusing on the connections. Would you like white or whole grain? Whole grain, please. Could you slice it? That'll 4.50. Now, say it again at a natural pace, without overthinking. Would you like white or whole grain? Whole grain, please. Could you slice it? That'll 4.50. If you tried this aloud just now, send me a quick message or comment with a sentence you enjoyed saying the most. I want to know which ones feel natural to you already. Why this matters. You've probably noticed that none of these changes are about grammar. They're about sound. They are the glue that holds a sentence together in real conversation. Without practicing them, you might understand written English but still struggle when listening to native speakers at full speed. By training your ear to hear woodja, coulda, twofer, and how much is it, you're teaching yourself to catch meaning instantly. And by practicing saying them, you're preparing your mouth to respond without hesitation. One last challenge for today. Close your eyes. Imagine standing at your favorite market stall. The vendor smiles and says, "Morning. Fresh bread today, just out of the oven." You smile back and ask, "How much is it?" They reply, 2 for 5. Now open your eyes and repeat that whole exchange out loud, keeping the flow as natural as you can. In our next part, we'll take Rachel and Sam deeper into the market. There will be new characters, more playful conversations, and yes, a few moments where misunderstanding leads to laughter. All of it will give you fresh opportunities to shadow and pick up even more real-life English. The sun was now higher, and the market was buzzing louder than before. Rachel adjusted the strap of her bag, now heavy with bread, cinnamon, and cheese. "We've already got half the pantry in here," she joked, giving Sam a playful nudge. Sam laughed. "Don't worry. We've still got room for a few more treasures." He glanced ahead, where a bright stall caught his eye. It was a fruit stand, but not the kind they'd seen earlier. Here, exotic fruits, spiky, colorful, and in all shapes, were piled high. A young vendor with a quick smile held up something round and purple. "Ever tried passion fruit?" Rachel shook her head. "No, but it smells amazing." Pause here. If you've ever tried passion fruit, raise your hand or just say yes out loud. Let's see how many of us are in the passion fruit club. The vendor cut one open, revealing bright orange pulp dotted with black seeds. "Here, taste it." Rachel took a spoonful and her eyes widened. "Wow! Sweet and tangy at the same time." Sam nodded, already tasting his. "It's like summer in a spoon." The vendor smiled. $2 each or 3 for 5. Hear how 3 for 5 becomes 3 for 5 in fast speech. Say it with me once. 3 for 5. Now imagine saying it at the stall while pointing at the fruit. They bought 3, and the vendor wrapped them in paper. As they left, Rachel noticed a commotion near a small open area in the center of the market. A crowd had gathered, laughing and clapping. They approached and found an elderly man performing magic tricks with a deck of cards. His hands moved quickly, but his voice was calm and rhythmic. "Pick a card, any card," he said to a boy in the front row. Rachel whispered to Sam, "I love how he says that. It's so smooth. Try saying it now. Pick a card, any card. Keep it quick but clear, just like the magician." After a few more tricks, the man made a coin disappear, then reappear behind Rachel's ear. She laughed so hard she nearly dropped her bag. "Okay, you win," she told him, handing over a tip. Sam pointed to a nearby stall selling colorful scarves. "Let's check these out." A woman behind the counter greeted them warmly. "Looking for a gift or something for yourself?" Rachel ran her fingers over the soft fabric. "Maybe for my sister. These are beautiful." The woman held up a deep blue scarf. "This one's silk, hand-dyed." Hand-dyed is pronounced smoothly. No pause between the words. Try saying it. Hand-dyed. Now make it sound like you're admiring the scarf. Rachel nodded. "I'll take it. How much is it?" The woman replied, 25, but I can give you a little discount. 22 if you pay cash. Take 22 if you pay cash with me. Notice how if you becomes ifia, and pay cash is clipped and quick. After paying, they tucked the scarf carefully into the bag. As they walked on, the smell of sizzling meat drew them to a small food stall where skewers of grilled chicken and vegetables were turning slowly over hot coals. A man in an apron called out, "Fresh off the grill. Try a sample." Rachel took a bite and closed her eyes for a moment. "Oh, that's delicious." Sam grinned. "Two, please." The vendor nodded. "Comin' right up." Coming right up often sounds like comin' right up. Say it with me. Comin' right up, and keep the energy in your voice. They stood to the side, waiting for their skewers. Rachel looked around and spotted a small table covered in handmade jewelry. She walked over, drawn by the sparkle of silver in the sunlight. The jewelry maker, a young woman with paint-stained hands, looked up from her work. "Feel free to try anything on." Rachel picked up a bracelet with tiny charms. "This is lovely. Did you make it yourself?" "Sure did," the woman said proudly. "Each one tells a story. If you could design a bracelet, what story would it tell?" Think about it for a moment. It's a great way to practice describing things in English. After a little thought, Rachel decided to buy the bracelet. "How much is it?" she asked. 15, the woman replied. "But I can give you 2 for 20. Here, 2 for 20 becomes 2 for 20. Say it once slowly, 2 for 20, and once quickly as if you're actually making the offer. With the bracelet safely in her bag, Rachel rejoined Sam, who was now holding their chicken skewers. "Perfect timing," she said, taking one. They found a bench near a small fountain and sat down to eat. The water splashed gently in the background as the market buzzed on around them. Rachel took a bite, then laughed. "We're going to need a second lunch after all this walking." Sam raised his skewer like a toast. "Here's to the best market day ever." Repeat that. "Here's to the best market day ever." Give it some enthusiasm, like you're celebrating something special. They finished their food and decided to make one last round before heading out. As they passed the entrance again, Rachel turned to look back. "I'm so glad we came. This was worth getting up early for." Sam smiled. "Next time we'll bring more bags." Mini practice recap. Let's pull a few sentences from today's scenes for a quick listening and shadowing check. 1. 3 for 5. 2. Pick a card, any card. 3. Hand-dyed. 4. 22 ifia pay cash. 5. Comin' right up. 6. 2 for 20. 7. Here's to the best market day ever. Listen once more, then try saying them all together, keeping the connections and the rhythm. If you enjoyed walking through the market with us today, imagine how much more fun it will be when you can join in every conversation without missing a beat. Which phrase from today's lesson will you try using this week? Leave me your answer. I'd love to see how you make it part of your English. If you've been with me since the start of today's journey, you've already walked through the market with Rachel and Sam, heard real-life conversations, and practiced some of the most common connected speech patterns. Now we're going to take it one step further. This is where we work on how you sound, not just what you say. Because speaking English isn't only about getting the words right. It's about rhythm. It's about melody. It's about making your voice dance with the language so that you don't just speak, you connect. Step 1. The music of English. Let's start with something simple. English has a natural rhythm, like footsteps when you're walking at a comfortable pace. Some words get more weight, others are lighter and quicker. This combination creates the music of a sentence. Take this line from the market. Here's to the best market day ever. The stress naturally falls on best, market, and ever. The other words are lighter, acting like bridges between the beats. Try this with me. Say it once in a flat tone, no rise or fall, just monotone. Sounds dull, right? Now say it again, lifting your voice slightly on best and ever. Feel how the sentence comes alive. Record yourself saying it both ways, flat and with rhythm. You'll hear the difference instantly. Which one would you rather listen to? Step 2. Shadowing with emotion. Shadowing at a basic level is copying words. Shadowing at an advanced level is copying energy. Let's use this example. That smells incredible. If you say it like you're bored, it doesn't match the meaning. But if you imagine holding fresh bread, still warm from the oven, your voice will naturally rise slightly on smells and stretch the first syllable of incredible. Say it once imagining you're talking about bread. Now, say it again imagining you're talking about a bouquet of flowers. Notice how your tone changes even though the words are the same. That's emotional shadowing. Matching your voice to the situation. Step 3. Controlling speed. Sometimes slowing down is powerful. Other times speed keeps the energy alive. Native speakers often speed up in the middle of a sentence and slow down at the end for emphasis. Example. 2 for 20, last one's left. The first part, 2 for 20, is quick and matter-of-fact. The second part, last one's left, is slower with a drop in tone, giving it urgency. Practice this pattern. Quick in the first chunk, slow in the second. Try it with, fresh strawberries, picked this morning. Tell me in the comments or messages. What product would you sell if you had a stall at the market? Practice saying it with this speed change. Step 4. Linking words naturally. We touched on connected speech earlier, but now let's apply it in longer phrases. Take, would ya like white or whole grain? The linking happens between would ya and like, but also between white and or, which almost becomes white are. When shadowing, don't pause where the writing shows a space. Pause only where a native speaker naturally would. Here's a challenge. Say, would ya like white or whole grain? 5 times in a row, keeping the flow smooth. Step 5. Adding pauses for effect. Even in fast speech, well-placed pauses make your words more powerful. Imagine you're telling a friend, I saw the magician, and he pulled a coin out of my ear. The pause builds curiosity, making the punchline more fun. Try it. Pick a short sentence from earlier and add a pause before the most surprising part. Makes your listener lean in. Step 6. Mirroring native stress patterns. English speakers use stress to highlight the important part of their message. If a vendor says, it's fresh from the farm, they're stressing fresh because that's what they want you to remember. Practice with, it's hand-dyed silk. Put extra emphasis on hand-dyed, so the listener instantly understands the value. Let's combine all these skills, rhythm, emotion, speed, linking, pauses, and stress, into one short conversation. Vendor. Would you like to try some? Quick, friendly. Customer. Sure, what have you got? Curious, rising intonation. Vendor. Fresh peaches, picked just yesterday. Slight pause, emphasis on fresh and yesterday. First, listen as I say it naturally. Now, your turn. Shadow the conversation with me, copying not just the words but the tone, the speed, and the feeling. Picture yourself back in the market. You're at a busy stall, the vendor is speaking quickly, and there's noise all around. Your goal is to respond smoothly, matching their energy. Let's simulate. Vendor. 2 for 10, deal ends soon. Fast, urgent. You. I'll take 2, please. Clear, confident. Vendor. Here you go, enjoy. Warm, quick. Shadow this exchange twice. First at normal speed, then 10% faster to train your reflexes. Could you keep up with the faster pace? If yes, you're ready for real-life listening. If not, replay and push yourself a little more each time. When you reach this stage of shadowing, you're not just repeating, you're performing. Your voice carries the same life as a native speaker's. People hear you and feel engaged, not just informed. This is what makes conversations enjoyable, whether you're at a market, at work, or meeting someone for the first time. For the next 24 hours, pick 3 sentences from this lesson and say them at random moments during your day. Play with speed, emotion, and stress. It might feel silly at first, but your brain will start to store those patterns. In the next part of our journey, Rachel and Sam will leave the market and head into the old town nearby, where the sounds of English will be different, quieter in some places, and surprisingly fast in others. You'll get to practice adapting your pronunciation and intonation to new environments. Before we move on, tell me, what's one English sentence that you feel proud saying? Share it with me, and maybe I'll include it in our next shadowing session. The late morning sun warmed the cobblestone streets as Rachel and Sam left the market. They carried 2 canvas bags each, filled with bread, fresh fruit, and a few handmade souvenirs. The air had changed. The market's busy chatter faded into the richer, layered sounds of the old town. Street musicians playing guitar, the soft rumble of tour guides speaking in different languages, and the occasional ring of a bicycle bell. Wow, Rachel said, glancing up at the old brick buildings. It's like stepping into a history book. Sam nodded. Yeah, but this history book has a coffee smell and live music. They strolled down a narrow lane lined with colorful shop signs. A small cafe spilled its tables onto the street. A man in a straw hat strummed a cheerful tune, and 2 children danced nearby. Everything felt light, until a sudden burst of noise came from just ahead. Pay close attention here. This is where our story takes a twist. Try to imagine every sound and every movement as clearly as you can. A crowd had gathered at the corner. People were clapping, laughing, pointing at something, or rather, someone. A street performer, dressed in a bright red coat and tall black boots, was balancing on a wooden crate while juggling 3 flaming torches. Is that even safe? Rachel whispered, half shocked, half impressed. Sam grinned. Depends on your definition of safe. The performer tossed 1 torch high into the air, caught it behind his back, then winked at the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, he called. I need a volunteer. Rachel stepped back instantly. Sam raised his hands in surrender. But before either could say a word, the performer's eyes locked on Rachel. You with the beautiful green scarf. Step right up. Performer. You with the beautiful green scarf. Step right up. Repeat it, matching his cheerful, inviting tone. Practice linking. Step right up sounds like step right up in fast speech. Rachel froze. Me. Yes, you, the performer said, hopping down from the crate. He bowed dramatically, then took her hand like an old-fashioned gentleman. Sam whispered, Go on, you'll regret it if you don't. The crowd cheered as Rachel stepped forward. She could feel her cheeks warming. The performer handed her a bright red apple. Hold this. Don't move. And don't be afraid. Rachel laughed nervously. That's easy for you to say. He began juggling again, this time 2 flaming torches and the apple. The rhythm of the crowd's oohs and ahs rose and fell with each catch. Then, without warning, he tossed the apple high into the air, spun around and caught it with his teeth. The audience erupted in applause. Rachel couldn't help laughing. "You're insane. That's show business," he said with a grin. "That's show business. Stress on show, short drop on business. Say it fast, linking that show business." The performer took a dramatic bow, then reached into his coat pocket. He pulled out a small card and handed it to Rachel. "For you. A free ticket to tonight's street performance finale. Don't be late." Rachel thanked him and stepped back into the crowd, her heart still racing. Sam was grinning from ear to ear. "You just became part of the show. Imagine you were in Rachel's place. Would you step forward or hide in the crowd? Say it out loud in English, then shadow my sentence." "I'd step forward without thinking twice." As they walked on, the narrow lane opened into a small square surrounded by flower stalls. A fountain bubbled in the center, and pigeons strutted around its edge. The air smelled of lavender and roasted chestnuts. "That was wild," Rachel said, still catching her breath. "I didn't expect to be part of the entertainment." Sam laughed. "It's the old town. Anything can happen here." Just then, a voice called out from behind a flower stall. "Excuse me. Would you like to try a free sample?" Vendor. "Would you like to try a free sample? Notice the link in would ya? Repeat 3 times, keeping it smooth." They turned to see a smiling woman holding a tray of small cups. "Lavender lemonade," she said. "It's refreshing and perfect for today." Rachel took a sip. The drink was cool, slightly sweet, with a gentle floral taste. "That's amazing," she said. The woman beamed. "Glad you like it. It's made with fresh lavender from my garden." Sam glanced at his watch. "We've got about an hour before we need to catch the bus." Rachel nodded. Plenty of time to explore a bit more. They wandered deeper into the old town, where the streets grew quieter. The sound of the fountain faded, replaced by the faint notes of a violin somewhere nearby. Around a corner, they found a tiny bookstore with an open door, the scent of old pages drifting into the street. "Let's check it out," Rachel said. Inside, the shop was cool and dim. Wooden shelves reached the ceiling, filled with books in English, French, and Spanish. An elderly man sat behind the counter, reading a novel. He looked up and smiled. "Looking for anything special?" Rachel hesitated. "Just browsing, thank you." Sam whispered. "This place feels like it's from another century." "Here's your listening challenge. Can you hear the difference between just browsing and just looking around when I say them? Repeat both slowly, then at normal conversation speed." The man stood and motioned toward a corner shelf. "We have some travel books you might enjoy." Rachel picked up a guide to the city, flipping through the pages. Photos of festivals, street food, and historic landmarks filled the glossy spreads. Sam said, "We should definitely come back for the festival next summer." Rachel smiled. "I think today's given us enough surprises for one trip." "I think today's given us enough surprises for one trip." Stress on today's and surprises. Practice linking. Today's given, today's given. As they stepped back outside, the sun was lower in the sky, casting golden light over the rooftops. The day had been full of unexpected moments: markets, music, juggling fire, and lavender lemonade. And somehow, each little interaction had given them a chance to listen, speak, and connect in English. Our next step will take us from the cobblestone streets to a cozy cafe where Rachel and Sam will put their pronunciation skills to the test in real conversation with locals. But before that, what was your favorite sentence to shadow in this part? Share it with me, and let's see who mastered the old town's rhythm of English. Welcome back, my friend. We've walked together through the lively market and the winding streets of the old town. You've heard Rachel laugh at the smell of fresh bread. You've seen Sam's eyes widen at the street performance, and you've even felt the crowd's energy as the music played. Now we're going to slow the moment down, not in time but in focus. We'll pick out the words, the phrases, and the little sounds that make English feel alive. This is where your ears become detectives. Every phrase we touch today has a story, And every sound has a reason. Imagine you're opening a small box, and inside, instead of gold, there are expressions you can use tomorrow in your own conversations. 1. Step right up. You heard this from the street performer calling people over. On paper it's simple, 3 words. But in the air it's an invitation. It's excitement in 3 beats. Step right up. In natural speech, those beats melt into 1. Step right up. Close your eyes. Picture a street full of people, a man waving his arms, smiling. Now try saying it with his energy. Step right up. Let it flow like water over smooth stones. 2. That's show business. This one is pure personality. It means, that's how entertainment works. Sometimes amazing, sometimes unexpected. If the microphone stops working or the music starts late, a performer might smile and say, that's show business. Feel how it rolls. That's how business. Notice the that's and show link like 2 dancers holding hands. Practice saying it with a shrug in your voice. Yes, you can put a shrug in your voice. 3. Would you like to try a free sample? Classic market sentence. In careful English, it's would you like to try? But in real life, the words get cozy. Would you becomes would ya. Say it slowly once, then again like the vendor would. Would you like to try a free sample? You can almost hear the smile in his voice, offering you a sip of cold lavender lemonade on a hot day. 4. Just browsing. Rachel said this in the little bookstore. It's a polite way to tell a shop owner you're looking, not buying yet. In fast speech, the T in just often softens. Just browsing. Next time you're in a shop, try it. Say it lightly like a small breeze. Just browsing. 2 words, but they carry a whole conversation. 5. You'll regret it if you don't. Sam's gentle push for Rachel to join the fun. This sentence is persuasion wrapped in rhythm. You'll regret it becomes you'll regret it, with each word leaning into the next. Say it as if you're convincing a friend to try the last piece of cake. Smile when you say it, your tone will change. 6. Anything can happen here. Sam's way of describing the old town. It's a phrase of possibility, of open doors. Stress anything and happen, so the listener feels the excitement. Imagine you're in a place where surprises wait around every corner. Say it so your friend believes it. Anything can happen here. 7. Part of the entertainment. When Rachel found herself in the middle of the performance, she laughed and said she was part of the entertainment. In quick speech, part of the sounds like part of the. Try it now. I guess I'm part of the entertainment. Hear how smooth it feels when the words slide together. 8. Grab some coffee / grab a bite. These don't mean you literally grab anything. They mean get or have food or drink. Grab becomes grabba. Picture yourself on a busy afternoon. Let's grab a coffee before the meeting. Easy, friendly, and fast. 9. Anything from bread to lavender lemonade. A perfect from to. Structure to show a range. In speech, bread to often sounds like bread to. Repeat with me. The market sells everything from bread to lavender lemonade. Feel that connection between bread and to. It's like a bridge. 10. Today's given us enough surprises. Rachel's closing thought at the end of the day. Today's given becomes today's given. That Z sound keeps the flow smooth. Say it 3 times, each time with a different feeling. Amused, tired, and satisfied. Notice how the tone changes the meaning. Try it now. Pick 3 of these phrases and say them to yourself while imagining the scene. Don't just repeat the sounds. See the bread, hear the music, feel the cup in your hand. The stronger the picture, the faster your memory grows. I'll give you the phrase once slowly, then at natural speed. You follow the natural speed. Ready? Step right up, step right up. Would you like to try a free sample? Would you like to try a free sample? Part of the entertainment, part of the entertainment. Do it 3 times each. You'll notice the speed feels easier each round. These aren't just words. They're living pieces of English that carry tone, mood, and culture. The more you practice them in context, the more natural your English will sound. So here's your challenge. Today, choose one phrase and drop it into a real conversation. Yes, even if it feels a little bold. 'Cause English comes alive when you use it. Which one will you choose? Step right up. Just browsing. Or anything can happen here. Tell me, and let's see how many of us bring these phrases into the real world this week. Take a deep breath with me. Can you hear it? The market is quieter now. The street performers have packed their hats. The smell of fresh bread is fading into the cool evening air, and the last golden rays of sunlight are painting the walls of the old town. You've just walked through a day filled with colors, voices, and little surprises. You've listened closely, repeated with me, and shaped every sound with care. This wasn't just a story. This was you, training your ears, your voice, and your confidence step by step. I want you to picture yourself here again, maybe a few weeks or months from now. You're in another busy place. Perhaps a cafe in a new city or a street corner in your own town. Someone speaks to you in English, fast and natural. And without even thinking, you answer. Your words come out smooth. Your voice feels steady. And you see that spark in their eyes, they understood you. That is the future you're building right here, right now. Before we finish, I want you to try something. Say this out loud with me. I'm ready for the next conversation. Feel the way your voice sounds when you mean it. That's not just pronunciation practice. That's your promise to yourself. Why this works. We didn't just list vocabulary today. We didn't just drill grammar rules. We lived inside a story. And your brain loves that, because it remembers emotions, sounds, and pictures far more than it remembers a page of notes. That's why when you think of Step Right Up or would you like to try a free sample, you can hear the rhythm, see the smiles, and feel the moment. Your challenge until next time. In the next 24 hours, I want you to use one phrase from today. Could be in a real conversation with a friend, or even in front of the mirror. Don't just whisper it. Say it like you're in the market again, full of energy and life. This small action will keep the momentum going. Thank you for staying with me all the way to the end. That tells me something about you. You're not here for quick tricks or shortcuts. You're here to grow. And that's exactly the kind of person who will see real change. I'm proud of the effort you've put in today. In our next episode, Rachel and Sam will find themselves in an even busier place. Faster voices, different accents, and challenges that will push your listening skills further than before. If you enjoyed today's mix of story and shadowing, you'll love what's coming next. So make sure you subscribe to EnglishStoryHub right now, and tap the bell so you don't miss it. If there was a phrase, a moment, or a part of today's story that stood out to you, tell me in the comments. I read them all, and I love seeing how you connect the lesson to your life. And if you felt this episode helped you, give it a like. It helps more learners find this content and join our little learning family. Fluency isn't a single finish line. It's a collection of moments where you surprise yourself. Moments like today. Every time you listen deeply, every time you speak out loud, you're building something that no one can take away from you. So keep your ears open, your voice ready, and your heart curious. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, anything can happen here.